Hi, guys. My finger slipped, and I think all the people heard was Nico scream.
Hello,
You got to go
everyone.
real quick. But yes, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on A Crafted. And I've got my normal co hosts. Oh, wait. How do I? Oh, it's really hard to do. Well, Skipper and Whipper. Skip and Whip on both sides. And we've got a
Nice.
special guest, Rack Cross. And he's going to show us one of the crafts that he's been doing. And I'm going to do a little one as he's going, just for fun. And before we get into that though, I want to go over what's happened tonight. Is my first night being remonetized. They sent me a letter that gave me the information why they demonetized me. It would have been nice to have gotten that 3 months ago, but they said if you finally got rid of all your multiple videos, then you can reapply for monetization. And I deleted over almost 900 videos. They weren't all the same, but I just made sure, and it stinks. That's about 400 hours of work, because I actually work each one separately, but it was always the same cute expressions of the cats that people like. So, oh well. For now on, when I start doing cat videos again, it's just going to be random cat picture of the day with the joke.
You got some membership milestones coming up.
Oh, that's awesome! I can't see any of
the Zen Ginger member for 33 months. She says, "Woohoo, Nika, baby cat, Ednuga." Only Oscars member for 22 months.
Wow.
Member for 22 months, June, saying hello, hello. And then Nancy B, member for 26 months, throwing you up the party stuff.
Thank you guys so much. I didn't realize how much the monetization helps. When you start, you get your money every month, you really start to depend on it. And like, I've been feeding my fish a lot better food than I used to. I always give them frozen food now and stuff. And
Jimmy,
just everything. Yeah, Jimmy P's going to be here. He's a bonsai man, so I talked to Jimmy.
Hey,
he's looking forward to this. But I really appreciate it a lot, guys. Thank you so much. And do you want to say hi to everybody real quick for us, Skip, and then we'll get the ball rolling?
Yeah, we could do that. But first off, Scotty, the Fish Freak membership milestone of 30 months. So happy that is monetized again. Love this stream.
Thank you so much. That's like almost 3 years. It probably would have been 3 years if I wasn't demonetized.
Right.
Well, thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with me. It was a tough 3 months. Only subs got to see my stuff. I didn't get to push it out to the community. So I had, in 3 months, I lost 91 subs because absolutely no growth whatsoever. And if it wasn't for all you guys being so awesome and hanging out with me every week, there would have been nothing. So
hey, Peplin,
thank you guys so much.
You'll get those back quickly, Ed.
Yeah, we'll see how I do on. I've got some stuff coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot more action figure shorts. So you're going to be seeing I realize that most people don't watch comic book or read comic books and stuff, but I do. And every comic book line has its own world. And I love the G.I. Joe world, but I've always thought it was stupid that G.I. Joe only has one bad guy and one good guy. And so I have started my own line of Fish Fam. So I have the Tennessee Fish Mafia, which a lot of you guys already know about that, but there is an evil opposite side to the Tennessee Fish Mafia.
No.
And I'm going to reveal it, but I'm not going to show the action figure, but it's the Zendikit. And we'll slowly show those action figures and I'm going to give everybody a little storyline when I do it. And I might do it, I don't know if it'll be every other day, but it'll be fun. So, once I figure out the 3D printer, it's going to be amazing. It really can. What were you going to say, Whip?
So first off, before we do the hellos, Nancy B also gifted 5 memberships.
Oh my God!
Night Owl,
so much, Nancy.
Linda Worth, Cheryl Smith, Oinky, Benjamin Peters. They received the memberships. I'm going to go off the participants list because we got a little ahead of ourselves and the chat got longer. HHD, Benjamin Peters, Dave Aquarium Thoughts, FishFam.link, JN Aquatics, Jimmy Custom Car Creations, Nancy B, Oinky, Only Oscars, Peplin Creek, Seville Steve, Sketty Nona,
that sounds
myself, Tampa Tom was here, the Zen Ginger,
Tampa
Smiley, Walway, and Xanadu.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for hanging out with us, and we hope we're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun.
While Rack is going to show us what he's doing, I am going to make my attempt at two miniature bonsai pots, and I'm going to send it to 2 people that are willing to take a picture. It's not going to be a giveaway. It's got to be, you've got to commit to either making a video or a photo for us to at least post. And I don't know if Rack wants to show it on his channel because it's not his stuff, but maybe he could put it on a different part of his channel or something.
We'll figure something out. Yes.
And
Jeremy,
while he does this, I made this pot. I love coil pots. I've made a lot of coil pots over the years. Well, thank you. And that's what I'm going to make. I'm going to attempt to make 2 coil pot bonsais. Okay. Well, let's see if we can make Rack bigger. And Rack, you might disappear too. I don't know. Oh, and then I want to do this.
Oh man, so big.
Nope.
Oh, that guy's big now.
Nope.
No,
I'm trying to make you in there, but now nobody's there.
Getting there. You're almost there. Nope, that's not it. That's not it.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Where'd you guys go? Guys, I feel alone. There you are.
Wait. Now, I've done this 1,000 times. I don't know why it's...
You have to move me up higher in the column.
You know what? There's a new thing.
Always.
Show
move over there,
on
Skip.
Stage.
It's a little crowded on the other side.
There. Oh,
there you are, Ed. Okay.
Now, click on his picture. There you go.
You nailed it, Ed. You nailed it.
Well, we only have 20 minutes
enough
left.
already. He's out.
Whip's hidden by the Fish Fam Punk sticker.
Oh, let's see if we can get rid of that. It's in honor of Shady. But
Shady Grady up there hiding the whip. Oh, that was cool, Ed. Good move.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Now, Rack, what exactly is a bonsai? Does it have to be... Well, wait. Before I ask my second question, you go to this question.
Okay.
What is a bonsai?
That's an excellent place to start, Ed. Thanks for asking, and thanks very much for letting me come on your show tonight. I understand you had a plan A that fell through. I hate it when that happens. So I was happy to be able to win.
And you were my plan A for next week, so this just works great.
Except I had a plan to send you something, and now we're a week ahead of schedule, so I didn't get to send you anything. So I hope we can follow up next week.
Sure.
And do some things. I am on the thumbnail as Rack Cross. My YouTube channel is Budget Bonsai. thank you, Wale and mods, for spamming my URLs. I appreciate that. I did change my channel trailer for tonight to one that was more pertinent to the show tonight, and the title has to do with bad haircuts. So as soon as I said hello in the chat, someone wanted to know if I'd be sporting a bad haircut tonight. And I said, well, I'm going to be wearing
right there has a bad haircut right here.
I'm asking, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty clean. But I told
See mine?
Dave that I'm wearing a cap tonight, if that's any indication of the condition of my hair. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But you don't have to look at all that mess. So I put a hat on. It's a Buc-ee's hat. I haven't worn it before. Also new for tonight. And I'm very happy to talk about bonsai. I'm going to actually sneak in 2 of my craft hobbies because Ed asked, what's a bonsai? And literally, the translation of bonsai is a plant in a pot. So there's 2 ingredients, a plant and a pot. And then after you get your 2 major bases covered there, everyone that's grown a plant understands there's probably going to be some substrate involved. After that, the 3 basic requirements, the rest are just technique and preference. And in my opinion, just a heck of a lot of fun. So here's an example of a bonsai tree. Now, if you want to be technical, it's not finished. It's not mature. Obviously, it's in training. So
Is that like an oak?
We use a term called pre-bonsai. This is a pre-bonsai, and it is a ginkgo tree.
A ginkgo?
A ginkgo tree, biloba. So now I have a YouTube friend, and I want you guys to check him out. His YouTube channel is Dreaming of Bonsai. He's a super community-oriented, collaborative guy, and on his daily walks, he would walk by a mature ginkgo tree with his dog. And when that thing, there was a female ginkgo tree, so it had seeds in the fall. And he started collecting these seeds and just planting them to see if anything would happen. Lo and behold, he had a bunch of ginkgos sprout. So early this spring, he offered a collaboration on his YouTube channel called Ginkgo Fest. So anyone interested that wanted one of his ginkgo trees could send him a shipping address. He'd ship him out a baby ginkgo tree in exchange for a video he could use on his YouTube channel. So I was happy to get involved in Ginkgo Fest, made a video, and he used clips to make a video. He has a playlist, including my video, for Ginkgo Fest. And I thought it was just a heck of a community idea centered around bonsai. So the bonsai plants propagation, okay, that's a whole lot of fun, big element in bonsai. And if you want to skip ahead and get a mature bonsai, they're for sale. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars on bonsai if you want to. I guess I've never done that, so I think I've seen them priced that high. But these little seedlings are free from a friend, or you can propagate your own from seed.
Can I ask you a question before you get
too
far
please do, man.
So I know a little bit about trees. I cut a lot of them down. I don't grow a lot of them up. Now that's a tree. It gets pretty big.
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you just keep transplanting it to a bigger and bigger pot, or how does that work?
It depends on how big you want it to get. In the art and style of bonsai whip, you control the size. And what happens when I put this seedling in this pot, this bonsai pot, I trim the roots. Now, I made a video. There's a video on Budget Bonsai of Ginkgo Fest, and you can see me potting this tree before it had any leaves.
Yep,
and I trimmed the roots. So by trimming the roots, you adjust the size and direction in which the tree grows.
Short term.
So, yep. So you can use even a much smaller pot. Well, I've got Ed's tiny pot in the box here. Here you go. Here's a little pot that I made. This is a little pinch pot. beautiful glaze on it. I wish the light was better. So a bonsai pot has big drainage holes. And the two little holes are for wire, to wire that tree in, hold it where you want it for display. So this little pinch pot, if you get a tree young enough, a seedling or a yearling, a sapling, and you can trim the roots well enough to get inside that pot, wire it in there, just take good care of it. Once a year, once every 2 years, you're going to repot it, maybe in the same pot, but you're going to take it out, remove all the soil, trim the roots again, put it back in a pot, maybe the same one. So that's a good question.
So, all right. Now, with trimming the roots, they stay small, right?
That's correct, especially the taproot. Sends a message to
Even-
the tree.
Okay, that was the question. Yeah, because otherwise, you've seen what they do to concrete.
Yeah, they lift sidewalks easily. Yeah. The
If you look
foundations
at-
of houses. So this pot, quote, pot, Budget Bonsai is the name of the channel, right? Budget Bonsai. This
Yeah.
tree was free from a friend. This pot is actually some plastic restaurant service. It's a little soup bowl, little miso soup bowl I got at the restaurant supply store for a couple bucks. And I drilled a large hole in the bottom and some holes for the water to come out under the pot when it sets up. And if I don't want to spill this, but I want you to see the bottom of the pot. See that screen and those wires?
Yeah.
That's also a very common,
Oh.
99% of the bonsai pots have that. So the soil doesn't go through, but it drains very quickly. So
I was
and
wondering
also,
what those were. I watched
concerning
other
the
people
growth.
doing that.
yes, it's as everyone does it. And if you see all the soil mixture here, there's a little bit of organic material in there, some pine mulch, but it's perlite and it's lava and crushed lava, tiny little pieces of lava, some granite chips sold in the farm store as chicken grit, and a clay, like a kitty litter clay. And in Japan, they call it akadama. And it holds a little bit of moisture. It's got some minerals in it, kind of dissolves real slowly. But anyway, that soil mix lets water drain through quickly. So the plants require watering more often, to the point of, now I want everyone to understand this. Bonsai is so cool, so fun. However, when you start caring for a bonsai tree, if you put it in soil that's not really soil and you've got to water it, some people in a smaller pot in warmer weather, you're watering 3 times a day. And that means this thing is more like a pet than a plant. So what I do, I don't do that. That's not my preference. It's not my style. I do put a little organic material in my soil so that it holds a little bit more moisture. So I try to gauge my plants so that they get water once a day. If I want to go on vacation, I can corral them up and hang a hose over them with the shower nozzle, put the water timer on the spigot, give them a good watering every day. Or if I've got a bonsai friend who says, hey, you want me to take care of your trees while I'm out? If we have a chance to talk about my trees and, the care I want to give them, sure, come on over and bonsai sit for me. But that's the big question. What is a bonsai? There you go. I haven't been taking much time over on the chat. I apologize. Were there any questions about what is a bonsai while we were talking about that?
Bonsai, and we'll let the guys check that, but I just have a quick question. Bonsai means plant and pot.
Plant in a pot. That's right.
Then why did the kamikaze guys used to yell bonsai when they'd go into an airplane, or was that just an American
that's
thing
a great question.
made up?
Because no, Ed, when they yelled bonsai, they yelled BANSAI. When we put a tree in a pot, we do BONSAI. So the Japanese pronunciation is actually bonsai. Bonsai. I'm Southern and I'm not Japanese.
Oh,
So I say bonsai as just kind of a default. But if you would to use the, I guess the American pronunciation of the Japanese war cry would be more like banzai.
And Zenny, just to follow up on that, She said not to be the most obnoxious one in the room, but it's actually bonsai.
Yeah.
She
So
just
if you're wearing your Japanese vernacular and accent, it's bonsai. Bonsai
Yeah.
is correct, but it's tomato. It means the
and
same thing.
she's from Texas, so I bet
Yeah,
you
so
she says
she
bon.
said bones ah.
Yeah. Some people drink like this, and others drink like that. So and sometimes
Then you got beta beta.
there you
So
go.
it
Yeah,
is.
same thing. I'm glad we cleared that up. Yeah, if you want to say bonsai, I'm for you, and if you say bonsai, I'm not going to correct you. So,
Not a lot of questions yet, though.
okay, we're going to say we covered that then. All right.
Nice.
So,
Mhm.
what kind of tree can be a bonsai? Any kind. Any kind. And I'll tell you, the woody plants are better than the herbaceous ones. The vegetables, some people do it, and there are some other plants that people turn into bonsai. But the woody plants, the ones that get a woody bark, are the best. And then in those, the ones with the smaller leaf, or a leaf that can be trained to be smaller by keeping it pruned and the roots pruned, those are the better, prettier bonsai. Because here's the deal. Here's what you're after. Here's the goal. In bonsai, like if I were to go back to my fish keeping in aquarium days, water quality would be the deal. Water quality for whatever I wanted to keep alive in that tank, it was water quality. In bonsai, the main thing is to make the tree look old, ancient even. So
I love those
work.
ones that have giant bases.
Okay, so
Like there's some with really thick.
that's right. And so
bases.
this little tree doesn't look, I'm not fooling anybody. That skinny little trunk ain't very old, right? So in nature, the older trees have wider trunks and they're typically tapered at the bottom. So in bonsai, to make the tree look older, you want wide bases, not too big of limbs. The heavier the limb is, the younger the trunk looks. So if you've got a big trunk and a skinny limb, man, that tree looks old. And then the branches on the bottom, a lot of times are more relaxed, and the branches toward the top grow up. So you're styling and shaping that tree to add age. You want that tree to look old. So that's why you apply the bonsai techniques that you apply, including the twisting and bending and all the gnarly stuff. Man, that tree's telling a story about life out there in the wild. And you get to decide what that story is. And one aside to bonsai is called penjing. And I think Ed would love this. That's where you build a landscape. You build a landscape that includes a bonsai. Maybe one guy used to do crash bonsai, and he would take die-cast metal cars and weather them and wreck them and have them running into hydrants and telephone poles, and then have a bonsai in the scene too. So he was hybridizing his model craft and his bonsai art. So the penjing, which is, if you go to the Smithsonian collection of bonsai, it's Bonsai Garden and penjing up there in DC. Mentioning that, why am I doing bonsai? Why do I think this is so cool? I don't know. I'm a naturalist. I like everything that's alive, has my attention. And when I started bonsai, there weren't a lot of options, but the options we had were fantastic. It was it was high end. I had to work extra shifts and sell a couple of things to get started. But come to find out, my teacher was like the best in the world. He was retired.
Was he American?
He is, and he was retired from his
Nice.
previous job, which was curator of the bonsai collection in the Smithsonian. He was the dude. He worked with all of the artists that had trees there. John Naka, the father of American bonsai, his parents were Japanese. He lived in Chicago, but he introduced America to the actual tradition of bonsai, and my instructor was his direct student. And that is awesome, and I'm blessed. Even though I had to work really hard to be able to do that, I couldn't. My friends didn't want to go. Right, that's too big a sacrifice. They weren't into it. So I'm operating now the budget bonsai channel. I love high-end bonsai. I go to national shows. I've been privileged to have the best in the world as teachers and workshop instructors, but that's not for everybody. That's for a few geeks, right? And that's okay. These are my people too, but I want bonsai to be accessible to anybody who wants to give it a whirl, and no one has to be afraid of a big price tag. I've shown you this bonsai tonight because I've got about $2 in it. Okay, $2, and I'm doing bonsai, and I've got some other examples.
Rack,
yeah.
When you get to a point, just let me know. I already got some questions ready to go for you when you're ready.
Okay, so and coming right up, Skip, stand by. So this budget bonsai, it's all about making sure everyone understands that it's accessible, and I give you several entry points. I do a dollar store tree. I talk about going to Lowe's. I do a 5-video workshop on going to Lowe's, buying a 1 gallon, the smallest shrub, and taking it home and turning it into a bonsai. That was so popular. I don't know if any of you guys remember Greg Jones of My Aquarium Box and the Greg Jones YouTube channel. Yeah. He had me on for a series on his live stream, and we did that workshop for his people. He loved it. He built a pond, wanted some bonsai around it. And wow, what a compliment to have koi and a pond and bonsai. I go out there at my bench now, and I'm surrounded by a lot of things that make me happy. I've got my koi, my pond, my bird feeding station, and my bonsai bench. It's a pretty good life. So on that, Skipper, what are some questions you've got?
One was from Oinky. She wants to know, is there any particular aspect of the bonsai hobby you find the most challenging?
Keeping the stinking trees alive is the challenge. And now I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm better now than I was 10 years ago when I started. But a lot of trees, first of all, back to Whip's question, when you take a tree and you cut its roots back aggressively and you cut its limbs back the way you want to, and you maybe put a wire on it and bend it, in an unnatural way, that's a lot of work on a tree. Some trees you can do one of those things per season. Some of those trees you can do it all, and then you better take real good care of it. And anything can go wrong in between. Animals can knock your bonsai off of the bench. Wind can do it. Severe heat. They can get flooded if you don't have them in there well, and all your substrate get washed out. So it's a challenge to keep the thing alive. And
I've always
that's the thing for me.
Is it hard on the trees when you're always trimming all the pieces off? Or do trees just make a lot more leaves than they need?
All the above, but they have limits, Ed. So you got to learn the limits, and that's part of learning the craft. Let me show you this one.
And Rack has an amazing workshop on his channel that he shot. I bet you made it 10 years ago.
I did.
Maybe not, but
right at 10 years ago. Yeah, 20.
Yeah, you can
maybe.
Anybody can go there, and it's like a free workshop that goes step by step through everything.
And I was at the big box store this weekend, and those 1 gallon plants are still under $20. That little pot you got cooking there, Ed, is nice. It's similar in size to this one.
I've made 3 so far. So we may have to do a fish versus fish and on the channel and have see who can bonsai the best. Their best aquatic bonsai.
Definitely got to do that. So this little tree, this is a Japanese black pine. This is a really nice tree in bonsai. And I had this seedling and thought, what would happen if I put a wire on it and bent it sideways? And so the composition style of this tree is called windswept. It's kind of self-explanatory. Windswept. Grew up on a cliff. That's what happened. So it had limbs all up and down, and it had needles and the candles growing out like pines do. Trimmed it all back, cut its roots, got it to fit in this little pot, and now it's the growing season. We'll see what happens. So far, so good. But it was a pretty severe treatment on this little guy. And
bet if he had
some of these trees also
voice-
are more flexible than others. These pines are pretty flexible. Some
Yeah,
are rigid and they
soft.
just snap. You'll
Yeah.
you'll find
I
out.
bet
Yeah.
if he had a voice, he'd probably hate you.
Yeah, probably would.
Actually,
You
my
appreciate the
dog
walk
doesn't like
every
getting a
day.
bath, but afterwards she's very happy.
So
And
this
these
this-
trees, I guarantee you, if you could have a conversation with them, they would say, "It's pretty nice around here in the spa. We get it might be raining outside, and he brings us in and puts us under a grow light, and he gives us food and water. And look at these
Keep the worms
shoes,
off?
man! I mean, every princess wants some shoes like that. I love bonsai pots, and that's a nice one. You
I'm
can
gonna
see a
have to look.
video.
I
Now,
like that.
this is speaking of budget bonsai, Ed. If you got to continue making those, even after you fill those up. This particular tree, I bought at Walmart during Christmas as Christmas greenery, and it looked like a little tiny Christmas tree. It cost
Nice.
$1.98.
Oh my gosh, that's a great deal.
So check out the videos and see how inexpensive it is to try. Just give it a whirl, see if you like it. I mean, it makes your
He's
life
really a
better.
cool looking one. I like that one a lot.
Do you
I
think
could put my GI Joe next to that. I could put Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes hanging out next to that and
And
be
there
friends.
is no limit to your pinging garden that's about to develop.
you have to be careful which trees you pick, though, right? I mean, I know there's some trees. If you snap that taproot, she's a goner. You know, I've tried to transplant trees, and I've snapped the taproot on a walnut. Not that you tried to do this with a walnut, but I'm just saying, if you break the taproot, it just dies. There's no
Well,
saving.
depends. A lot of it depends on the time of year. And I'm going to give you some bonsai info here that you take with a grain of salt. Don't risk any tree on it. But if you can work a tree, like spring is a good time to repot a lot of trees just before the roots start to grow. But all of that energy is waking up and they're starting to send energy to the roots. Then if you trim it at that point, that energy is already stored up and en route. Versus at the end of the season when all the energy has been spent to grow roots, to grow leaves and trees and fruit. Now the tree's just tired. It wants to recover and go to sleep in the winter. So if you chopped it in the fall, a lot less energy than if you chopped it in the spring. So that's another part of learning the bonsai craft. And, it's like fish. Every direction I look, I see books, bonsai books. And most of the books I have include even down to calendars as to what month to do what technique. And these workshop trees that we've talked about, roots, trunk, limbs, leaves, man, that's a rare tree. You don't want to do all of that to a tree. But at the same time, when you go to a workshop, you don't want to trim one leaf off and say, "How was your workshop?" So you take a little risk there. But just understand that is a lot of work on a tree. And like Whip just said, sometimes you can do one of those things, break a taproot, and the tree just says, "No, ain't doing it no more."
Yep,
Checks
I'm
out
doing
on you.
I forgot that Whip is the Grim Reaper of trees, and he's in a bonsai stream.
Right.
I mean,
Although this is cool, this is different. It's not the same thing. I'm clearing trees so that you can keep your power on, and you guys are making cool trees you can keep in your house out of trees that I am cutting down. Like I've
if
cut
we
down a
could
lot
get
of
together, Whip, and I could teach you how to bonsai these trees that keep them out of the power lines instead of killing them.
I think they're
Yeah.
for gone by the time I get to them.
You can bonsai all the trees, Whip.
Hey, Whip,
Could
what
you
are you doing?
imagine?
I'm bonsaiing these trees.
They're like, I think it's time for you to retire, Whip.
Yeah, you've clearly lost.
Stephen
your mind.
P wants to know how long does it take to start from scratch and get to a point where you're legitimately happy with how it looks.
That's totally up to you, but if it depends, are you starting from a seed, a seedling, a 1-year-old, a 1 gallon? So a lot of it depends on you. What goals are you trying to obtain? And what I found is some trees, well, I'll say most trees are never done. They're always growing. They're always having to be maintained. But so of the ones we've seen, I want to show you this one. This is real common in the bonsai hobby. You can get this at stores. I even saw one at Lowe's this weekend. All the nurseries have them. This is a little ficus. Okay, they're office ornaments, ficus. One of the figs, this is African. And you see these little tiny leaves? That makes a good scale for your tree. And then these roots, which they're actually a hot mess as far as applying bonsai standards. But when they come out of the soil like that, they send the message, hey, I'm a bonsai. So this is a ficus that you could buy in a store, probably less than $30 with a pot. And pretty decent beginner tree. If you can see, the soil here is not compacting, it's just loose gravel. And underneath we got a large bonsai hole and some screen down there. So you wire the trees in.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so they don't
I
fall
saw
over.
people doing that.
The wind doesn't blow them over. And so then those fresh cut roots also are held pretty good, so you're not wallowing them around as they try to heal. Ficus. So tropical, right? This one's staying indoors, and this one's outdoor tree. This one goes back on the bench. Here's a way that I start them cheap. I got a big ficus tree. It's like 4 feet tall, like a office decor. And I just cut part of a limb off. And I'm going to start growing it. So this, I did this in the fall.
It's like an apple tree.
You can do that to a ficus? I didn't know that.
Heck yeah, ficus root back really well. So I did this in the fall, letting it grow. You can see the new growth here, a baby leaf and another leaf right behind it. Maybe you can. Yeah, it's growing well. So I'm going to just let it grow, right? It's going to get shaggy. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to cut it back. I'm going to cut it back and let it grow some more. I take all this energy off of the end. So then that energy sometimes comes in a new branch back down the tree someplace. So I just keep doing that. There's a technique in bonsai called grow and clip. Don't bend anything, no wires. You let it grow, clip it back. Let it grow, clip it back. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes where you clip one branch, it will grow back 2. So you end up with a lot of choices and some ramification. You can see here where we have 2 little branches versus one long one. And the little branches are what makes the definition and the tree look like an older tree instead of a younger tree sprawling out. But this tree cost me nothing. I cut it off a tree I had in the corner.
There's a couple questions that you can wrap into one when you're ready.
Go.
Ready. The first one is from Larry D, wanting to know, do the roots need to stay damp? And then Scotty the Fish Freak ask, could you drip irrigate for them like with an IV drip line?
And the answer is yes, sometimes. Some of the trees are succulents, they like to go dry. Desert rose. And some of the ficus, they like to dry out and then get rewatered. And some of the trees, like there's one called a sarissa, it has lots of tiny little leaves, so it's aspirating a lot of moisture all day long, and it likes the heavy water. Then you got your bald cypress, like we have around here. They like what we call wet feet. You see them growing in the swamp. They're famous for growing the knees that come out of the water. As the root gets further away from the tree, the root goes up to the surface, goes back down. So the bald cypress, I recommended to L.R. Bretz that he put some in his planted tanks. So the canopy has to be out of the water, but the roots can be in the water. So very variable there. And the irrigation, absolutely. Yeah, you can do it. You can keep a drip system on them. A lot of people don't do that. You'd like to be in touch with your tree. How's it doing? What's it doing? Do I have the right soil mix for that tree? And that automation kind of takes that out of your hand. But
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, who's got a question now? Oh, it's Ed. Ed, go ahead.
Well, okay. idea of it being dry and watering it 3 times a day a human like torture, or is it actually for the plant?
Some people really enjoy that. And every time we water through this loose soil, it takes oxygen by the roots.
Oh.
And
okay.
if we're using a fertilizer or we have an organic fertilizer on top, it's sending that fertilizer to the roots. Now, this is an
Gotcha.
olive tree.
Oh, neat.
Very, very popular. It can be indoor or outdoor in the summertime. In the wintertime, it's got to come in. But you can see how light that bark is. It's a very white bark and silvery green leaves. So this one has been growing for about a year, ready to be chopped back. It looks like when you chop one of these back, man, it looks like the lawnmower ran over them. But it's good for them. And then they grow back out and they keep getting more character. The trunk gets thicker. The base of that trunk's already starting to flare. You can't really see that very well, but there you go. Yeah, the trunk's coming down.
Yep.
Well, with the tripods, are they supposed to keep a little tree forever?
You know, they can.
let's
That's a style of bonsai. Bonsai, they call the different sizes of bonsai by different names. So that small of a pot, the tripod, is a mame size pot. M-A-M-E, mame. Then we go up to a shohin size, and then we would go up to bigger until the
Would this be
larger
considered-
bonsai and the larger pots are measured by how many men it takes to carry them.
Oh
Like
my God.
A one-man bonsai, two-man bonsai, up to I've seen a four-man bonsai.
Right,
Yeah.
Zenny. Larry, not Zenny. Got Zenny on the brain.
So here's a
Choose
mod.
wisely.
So I did this tree from I had another. This is a ficus tree, and I had the ficus as the mother plant. I harvested a cutting, stuck it in the ground, and it rooted. Took the cutting out, put it in this pot, which is actually a teapot. Can you?
You shouldn't have
There
met.
you go.
So I ordered a teapot off Amazon, drilled a hole in the bottom of that porcelain, cut out some drainage on the side, and now I love this little pot.
Yeah, that's neat.
And it's
What
holding
is
this tree.
what keeps that thing from tipping over? I don't. That is such a
tree or the
narrow
pot?
base.
The
The
tree
whole
or the
thing.
pot. Yeah, so that substrate is light, right? That perlite and lava. It's very, very light. And so the tree is very low. And if I tapped it, it would tip. You can't see that. I don't really want to show you because it might fall. So yeah, it's heavily counterbalanced. It doesn't take much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just enough so on a display, if you don't breathe real hard, it'll stay there.
Can you glue like a washer or two on the bottom of the teapot to make it heavier?
You can do anything you want to do, and actually,
That's actually brilliant.
that
Ed,
John
that's brilliant.
Naka used to put nails in the bottom because trees like iron, and then when he'd repot them in 2 years, the nails would be gone because the tree absorbed that. Now we've talked about regular single trees. You can also do multiple trees in a planting called a group or a forest. And here's a little forest planting I have that I could bring in.
Neat.
I think so. I think these are so cool. This is a China doll. It's available at nurseries, a cheap little house plant. And
I could practice making an aquascape without it being in the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
What's
China
this
doll
called?
there for the group, China doll. And I have my next video that's in progress is it's a forest group of bald cypress, which is a very common forest plant for bonsai. So that's in the pipeline. It'll be up soon. And so Any other questions there, Skip? We do.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
he's
couple.
got a bunch.
Go ahead. Hit me.
Brandon Lightcap wants to know: do willow trees? Do they make good bonsais? Willow tree?
Absolutely. Yeah, people love working with willow trees, especially the weeping willow.
Yeah.
Giant ones or little ones?
Well, so the thing about the willows is they root so quickly from cuttings. People love to take a cutting and root their own, and it's like they were there from the beginning. And by not starting from a seed, you get like a year or two head start.
I've done
So,
it, and it
That's
does
pretty
work.
cool.
Do you find that fast-growing trees are a bigger issue long term than some of the slow grow, harder woods?
No, what happens is it's all fun to me, and when the trees are getting established, there's more work, setting the direction, making sure you're staying on top of everything, and then once you've got that tree, say 5 years, you got a tree 5 years into training, you've got a basic shape, right? You remember the pine tree, the composition's set, and that new growth can't hide. It sticks out like a sore thumb all over the place. So then it's easier to find and trim.
I get
instead of
that, but what
establishing.
about the size of the tree? I mean, just for a quick example, I cut down a weeping willow back a long time ago, and it was in the spring, and by that fall, it had grown 25 feet, 30 feet,
Mhm.
just to sucker, the water sprouts,
Yep.
and they were already back in the wires. So, I mean, if you're using willow,
Yep.
even though you're cutting the roots back, I mean, you're obviously having to maintain those roots much more frequently, right?
Nope. Once
No?
you'd be amazed. Once you cut that taproot and you get it in a pot, it slows that dramatically. So it's good and bad. You want that trunk to get fat, so it's going to
Mhm.
slow that down too. So you're going to have to be patient. But that extreme growth, not going to happen. And I had a mimosa tree in a 2-gallon, 5-gallon nursery pot in the backyard and didn't know it. And the roots went through the nursery pot into the ground.
Oh,
And
wow.
that thing in one growing season, like Whip was saying, it grew 10 feet on either side of the trunk, 20 foot plus in one growing season. And so when I cut that tree down, I had about a 5-inch root on the ground, between the ground and the pot. So had I put that thing in a pot like I was supposed to, instead of being lazy and just leaving it in the landscape or the nursery pot, that wouldn't have happened. But it's it's worth it, Whip, just to give it a whirl, just to see what happens, because you do have this catalog of knowledge that you've observed in the wild, and once you apply the bonsai techniques, it's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Now, if
So
a bird would make
Zach-
a nest in one of your bonsais, would that make you mad?
They're this
not
big.
make me mad. And what I would do is, if that happened to me, I would not disturb that tree. That's going to happen during the spring also, right? That's the growing season. That tree is going to get left alone during the growing season. So whatever that maintenance was in the spring or repot or whatever, that tree's not getting it. I'll pick it back up in the fall when the birds fledge.
So birds get priority one when it comes to
Yeah. So basically, I tricked them. Right? It's my fault. I didn't come to access to it, so they win.
Yeah.
Mario?
Zenny wants to know if you ever tried air propagating them.
Oh yeah, air layering, big time. So I don't necessarily have the patience for that. All of my friends do, and that's where you have a mature tree, like a dogwood tree in your yard. You want a dogwood bonsai? Look up the technique of air layering. And that's where you take some of the bark off all the way around the limb, pack it with something that's going to stay moist, like sphagnum moss, wrap it in plastic wrap so it stays moist. Leave that on there for a year. That next spring, where you cut that bark, that cambium layer, it's going to grow roots. Take the moss off, saw the limb off where the roots are, plant the new limb, which is now a tree with the roots. So much fun. But it's a year-long wait. So
That's interesting.
I think
Oinky.
so.
Yeah, that's different. Oinky wants to know: is there any Pacific tree species you have found to be the easiest to conform into bonsai growth?
Well, the live ones are easier than the dead ones. So,
Yes.
so if you're just starting out, you want to look for something that's beginner friendly to keep alive. So the ficus, if you don't give your tree a lot of attention, ficus is good because you can overwater it and kill it. If you like to love your trees a lot, then that sarissa that loves to have water all the time, that might be a better one. So you learn a few traits of a few trees that are readily available and inexpensive, and you find out you got a selection, you got a buffet of options, which tree you want to start with.
Hmm.
And so, any other questions? A burning question someone has?
Another one is Scotty just showed up or just put in chat. What about lighting?
Indoors, I use a grow light, and grow light, I get it in a bulb in one of those chicken lights, the silver dome, or a shop light with a LED grow light in it. Or now I've got some in the at the entry at our front door. I found some flat plates with adhesive on the back with LEDs on them. Man, I mean, they're just like 0 inches thick, like a less than a quarter of an inch thick with adhesive, sticks on the shelf above it. And I've got a series of grow lights with a little the on off switch has options for how many lights and which lights turn on. It's pretty cool and pretty inexpensive too. So they do need light. All the plants need light. And because I'm impatient, it's like power feeding a fish. I want them to have good fertilizer and good light, good water, good health. So this growing season that we have here in my part of the Southeast, which is the spring and summer, I want them to get all the growth they can. So I'm pushing it to them. Now, I've started doing pottery. We've mentioned the tripot a couple times. That's a style of pot. Let me grab one that I make at the pottery.
There's one that I copied from your channel.
That's one I did. Okay, so that one had moss in it. That's how simple this is. I put moss in it. Here's another
Here's
one.
another person's. What did they do here? Is this
So that guy went to Spain and collected a succulent, brought it back from Spain, and put it in a tripod.
Gotcha.
And there's a video on my channel about that. That was the guy who did the Ginkgo Fest, if you remember, Dreaming of Bonsai.
Oh, and I
Very
thought
party.
I was going to pop that earlier and I forgot to.
So that's a ficus. He put a ficus cutting in his. Here's another little pot. So it's a tripod because it has 3 feet and a drainage hole, right? And it's got my chop on it. It says RC. You can't see it very well. Some glaze. That's a dark body clay. And look at that. I mean, it's an oversized thimble. That's my thumb fills it up. That's a challenge. But now I also have a video on my channel called the Thimble Challenge. I did actually use a thimble as a bonsai pot. Drilled out the hole in the bottom and put a plant in it. So these things I'm going to the pottery to make, and I'm shipping them all over the world. People are making videos, putting them on their YouTube channel, and we're telling people bonsai is accessible. It's a whole lot of fun if you want to give it a try. Don't be afraid. There's some entry level. Now, that's not the only pot I make, right?
Can I ask you what you're doing here?
Here. Making pottery. And so this pottery, this clay is very wet when I put it on the wheel to turn it and give it a shape. And so you can't touch it. You can't lift it because it's so soft and malleable. It'll dent. It'll break the smooth surface on the side. So I use that torch to dry off just a little bit. It doesn't cook it. It just dries off the water to make it what we call leather hard, so it can be handled without being misshapen or
I've never seen anybody do that like that before. That's neat.
So, and here you see I've got the foot. You've got to have a foot on a bonsai pot so the water can drain out. And then I've cut a hole in the foot so the water can get out from the pot. And these small holes are for the wire. The wire comes in and we can tie the roots down like the one you saw me hold by the trunk. So this is a nice bonsai pot with the glaze, the stoneware. These are.
When did you say those things are going to be available? You got Priscilla asking if.
Oh, hey Priscilla,
Priscilla.
I've got this
Priscilla?
tripod challenge going on, and through there's a YouTube Bonsai Expo, guys. Write this down. I'm a collaborator with the YouTube Bonsai Expo, July 26th. That's in most of my videos now. I'm talking about it. Dave's Bonsai YouTube channel is hosting this worldwide YouTube event, and we're pushing out the tripods as a, hey, anybody can do this. Following that, all the pottery that you see, it's going to be on the market. It's available. If you see something you like, let me know. So I
Dr.
got
Ted?
pinch pots and turned pots. These are turned, what you call turned on the wheel. So we're going to get the tripods out there. Everybody's going to get a shot at those, and then we're going to release the hounds. I wish you guys could see these glazes.
They're coming across okay. They're not. It's not too bad.
Have you
You
ever
can see
tried
the shine.
pouring? Have you ever tried pouring salt on a glaze before you put it in your kiln, just to see what type of crystal melts into it? It's
I
kind of
have
neat.
not, but I'm aware of that being a type of glazing, and people love it.
Man, I wish I knew where some of my stuff was.
You never know where any of your stuff is.
I know. It's really neat to do the salt.
Nope. Yeah, people go nuts over that stuff. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's see, any more trees? I got a couple more trees here. So
Jeffro wanted. Is the juniper a beginner-friendly tree?
It is, but it's outdoor. It's out. Don't bring it in. Don't love it inside. It's an outdoor tree. This is a trident maple. Okay, so I'm just letting this grow because this leader is drawing a lot of energy, helping the growth. It's helping the trunk get fatter. If you look at those brothers there, one's twice as fat as the other.
And that's a maple?
Is that tall leader. More energy moving through that. But this little guy, he's ready to come out of there and go into a tripod, a very small pot.
You said that's a maple? I didn't
Trident maple.
Trident maple.
Yep. You look that up. Here's one of my little slab pots that I can't wait to plant a group of tiny bonsai in.
So like a little window thing, trough,
Yep.
flower trough type thing.
Yep. So I'll set the group off center someplace, and then have a little figurine or something on the other side, and it'll just make me happy every time I look at it or water it. So we're going to get these tripods out to the people, and then we're going to start just busting out the pottery. But I've got to send you one, Ed. I got you one right here. It's already in a box. And I want you to use it however you want to. Make a video of it, and I'll share it on my YouTube channel.
I'll definitely do that.
But it's going to be...
I'm at... Oh, go ahead.
We got our schedule got off. I had all of this planned. I'll send him a pot, and he'll make it, and we'll have the video to talk about.
Well, we can still do that.
Yeah. Our schedule just got off a little bit. That's all.
Brandon Lightcap wants to know if you can bonsai a mangrove.
Yes.
I would guess. Yeah, those things. No, that's cool. That looks like it's
my favorite
took a broken pot.
My favorite whip right there. And that rustic glaze, so tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fave.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's neat.
So the mangrove is a real specialty. We call that a conversation piece. It's not going to get the flared trunk, obviously. It's got those mangrove roots. But when you put that in a large oval bowl and you my wife just came in and said hello.
Oh,
Hello, everybody.
hello.
Hello, Mrs. Rack.
Hey, Mrs. Rack.
Hey there.
Now we
That's
have
all.
to behave. No, don't stop talking like that, guys. You'll get me in trouble. I can't wait to do that project with you, Ed. And I'm going to tell you guys something in the chat. Fish keepers make the best bonsai people. You already have all the skills. You're just overlaying them on another hobby. I think anybody here would have great success if they wanted to give it a whirl.
Well, that said, right now I'm at 7 pots for aquatic ones for our, and I'm going to try to get to 10, and then we'll do a
10
a
pots.
fish
You're a
versus
machine.
fish.
You are
Yeah,
a
I
machine.
know it's kind of. Well, I can do stuff when I'm talking and having fun.
Well, do you mind, Ed, if I do a little commercial for myself?
Please do.
I've got this new channel, Budget Bonsai, and I swear it's been a long time since I was into YouTube. You know, River Life took off. I love traveling and building that channel. We changed it to Pond Life. Then I started Bird Garden, and both of those channels still have thousands of subscribers. And I remember helping so many people get their first 1,000 subscribers. It was so much fun for me to do because it really is a benchmark. It says this work that I'm doing kind of paying off. And the feedback that you guys give, whether it's a thumbs up or a super chat or dropping a comment, it means so much. And the fast and easy evaluation is that subscriber count, right? So there's something about it, even though it's not a handshake, it's not a hug. It says, yeah, people are checking that out. So if you're into this and you like watching YouTube videos, if you'd watch a few of my videos and decide if I've earned your subscription or not, I would really appreciate that. Now, thank you, Ed, for suffering through that.
Oh, just go on over there and sub, and if you hate it, just don't ring the bell. That's what I say.
Well, if
because you're a great guy. You're worthy of the sub.
Yeah. If you like it, hit the thumbs up.
Yes.
Uh,
and ring that bell.
If you don't like it, hit the thumbs up 3 times.
Well, how do we want to do this for these? I'm going to cook them during. Is Whip or Skip going to go next?
I
is
can
it a little
go.
Buddha?
I did not plan on going, but I can go if you need me to.
That's pretty neat. Little figurine.
It's called a mud
I
man.
was planning
Mud
on going, but I still have to get up early tomorrow. I have FERT training for work, so I kind of took
Holly.
my second day off. But next week I'd be able to do it. I can't do it this week.
Well, if you want to stick around for a few minutes anyway, you feel free. But if you got to go, you got to go.
Okay. Well, Skipper, would you like me to send you one of these? And what we'll do is when we do the competition, we'll have Rack also there to give us his opinion, but we're not going to put anybody's name on them when we rate them 1 through 10. Okay.
So what are we doing?
We're going to make here. I'm going to make us all.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm just going to
bring
make
us
me
the
big for a
norm.
second. Whoops.
That's the wrong guy.
I'm taking advantage.
Yeah. Okay. I've made a whole bunch of these little.
Those are
foil
awesome,
pots.
Ed.
And so far, I've made 8.
Let me see
And
the
I'll make-
bottom of one.
They're real basic.
What's the purpose of them? What are you planting in them for an aquarium?
Yeah, these are all going to be aquatic bonsai, and we're going to say that your channel's sponsoring it,
Okay, fun.
and you'll be the main judge. But we'll whoops, let me go back to everybody. There we go.
What type
we'll
of
do
clay
is-
is that, Ed?
It is
Polymer?
Sculpty.
Oh, so
Yes.
it's you'll bake it.
Yeah, I'm going to bake these,
Okay.
and then I'm going to paint them with dry lock. So there's going to be
spray
black
paint.
ones. Nope. You can't spray paint these because the chemical in spray paint that keeps spray paint liquid in the
Hell,
can
yeah.
melts the solid. It goes back in. It's like the same chemical I think they put in this to make it hard or
Yeah.
soft. And when you bake it, it comes out. But when you put that back on there, it makes it real sticky. So you can't use
can't
any
do that.
spray cans.
Yeah.
But dry lock is basically a concrete.
Mhm.
And it works great in your fish tanks. And I have created several colors of different dry locks. So I'll make brown, red, and black.
How'd you make the colors?
I took concrete dyes
Like mason
and
dye powder?
yep,
Okay.
and I added it to it. And I just because you can have them dye it by the gallon at the store, but I went with one white gallon at a time, and then I put it in mason jars. And here, I'll just grab, this is one of my charcoals.
While you're getting that, Oinkmaster asked a question in chat. Are there any trees that you've worked with that do their absolute best with only rainwater? And the answer is all of them. Rainwater is the absolute best you can do.
Yeah.
I just keep it in a mason jar.
Pretty thick stuff.
Oh, it is. You got to use a stick to get it soft. You don't want to put a drill in there because you'll wear your engine or your
How does the
motor
drill go again?
well, because it would die in there. But let's see. I've got the whole gallon. I've got a gallon right here, I think. Oh no, I put it back in the garage. Never mind. But I'm going to paint them and then I'm going to sand them. So they're going to look kind of unique. And I'll send anybody that wants to compete one, but if you don't want to compete, don't go for it.
Now, what are they doing
So-
there? They're putting an aquatic plant in it
Yeah, they're going to make an aquatic bonsai.
and then display it in their aquarium and take pictures.
Yeah, they got to take a photo. And maybe, do you have a bonsai Facebook page?
Yes.
Maybe we could.
Huawei's been spamming that link too.
Nice. What we'll do is we won't post it until after the competition, so people don't know whose is whose.
Sure.
So like, if Stephen P's still here, he's a pretty big plant guy. He might want to compete.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Skipper, do you want to do one?
Yeah, I'll do it.
And Whip, I know you don't like doing aquatic plants, but you want to try it?
Oh, I love doing aquatic plants. Aquatic plants hate doing me. So, yeah, I'll try one.
Okay. So I'll nail one. And you know what? We'll even see it. I'll call Rico tomorrow and see if he wants one. So let's try to get 6. Is there 6 volunteers? I bet Nancy B would do it. He's a
Big
good green thumb.
Big Steve said yes. Stephen
Okay.
Stephen P said he's lazy. I don't know what that's for.
Maybe he doesn't want to do it. Maybe Oinky would like to do it. He's
But
got
Stephen
plans.
P does want to try though. Stephen
Good.
P wants
Okay.
to do it.
Good. Nice.
Can you
Hold
write
on a
that
second.
down for me, a list?
I'm more,
And
yeah,
I
give
will.
me a sec.
I'll bake them during Whip show, and then I'll paint them. Whip, are you going to have a show on Saturday?
No, I'm going to be moving some electric. I got a guy coming over, so I'm helping him.
Well,
I will not.
we'll
be
try. We'll try to paint them either tomorrow or Saturday, and then we'll ship them out on Monday. I got to find some little boxes that they'll fit in good, but I don't. They're not going to be. They won't be fragile. So I just put some packing peanuts in a little box and send them. Boy, because it's a white clay, it doesn't show up well at all.
There it is.
But I tried to make them all unique because, I love how
Yeah.
doing this type of coil because it's not perfect. I really like making it uneven. Okay, so we got Big Steve. Did Nancy B say she would do it?
Big Steve, Stephen P, and Branton Lightcap's all I seen in chat.
Nancy
Nice.
B will do it. You know she will.
Okay, so put Nancy in there.
I voluntold you.
Thanks,
Well,
Nancy.
I gotta get a mosaic plant to Nancy B. So Maybe it
There's
can
a
go with
question there. Branton wanted to know the best place to get a bonsai pot. Well, listen, a lot of my friends use for a year or two an empty yogurt container. But if you must have a bonsai pot, they're plastic training pots, bonsai training pot, on Amazon, and you can buy 1, 6, or a dozen, however many you want, and they are really inexpensive. Understand, you get what you pay for. So if it fell with a plant in it, probably will crack. If you kept it outside for a year, probably will dry rot. But just to start with, pretty inexpensive, and you have a legit plastic bonsai pot. Otherwise, you do a Google search for bonsai pot and hang on to your billfold or wallet, whatever you keep your money in.
How about Shelby? We'll send one to Shelby and make her do it.
Just make her do it.
Yeah.
Toonie
I
Loon.
put the link. I put the link for
Right.
in the
Toonie
private
Loon.
chat.
It's for any aquatic plant.
I couldn't
But I
understand
got-
what you were saying.
Yeah, go ahead. Do
Big
it again. I'll
Steve.
stop talking.
Big Steve, Stephen P, Branton Whitecap, Nancy B, Xana Doodoo wants to do it.
Nice.
and then-
Next.
Xanadude.
The dude.
Xanadude.
Xanadude.
Ed wouldn't let me play the ukulele tonight for fear of a copyright strike after just getting remonetized, and I don't blame him.
He's all gun
don't
shy.
blame Zen Ginger, I got your email, and this envelope is heavy. Oh, it's so heavy.
Whoa. Probably a whole bunch of $100 bills.
No, probably not. But maybe all kinds of stickers. I don't know what she's going to get.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, let's get the rest of the names in Whip's show so we don't go too far over Whip's. Those are some awesome stickers. And you know what? I didn't get demonetized because of a PSA. So let's just see whose PSA comes up today.
You had a tough day at the office, so you come home, make yourself some dinner, smother your kids, pop in a movie, maybe have a drink. It's fun, right? Wrong. Don't smother your kids.
No wonder you got demonetized.
You know, that was the first PSA ever. That was from, I didn't put their names on at that time, but that was from Grant. That was Grant from Grant and Shelby, Garden of Eden. So,
Nice.
but yes.
You just got Big Steve donated. He gifted 5 memberships. My God, it's been a while since.
Good
Oh my
on you, Big
gosh.
Steve.
He
you
gifted
so much.
5. He got one for himself through that gifting. Toonie Loon, PJ Oasis, Holly Gibbs, and Branton.
Well, thank you so much. That was so nice. Hopefully, I'll get on it and we'll have a new PSA next week. And we'll do. Now, does Big Steve have one? I'm trying to think. Let me see. This might be Big Steve.
Knowing how to put on your helmet and how to strap it is a really important thing to know.
It may have been Big Steve's. But
I'm sorry, it's funnier now.
I wish I would have put people's names on at the beginning.
Oh, God.
But yeah, we're having fun. I haven't got to run a PSA for 3 months, guys. So But-
Tampa Tom is mowing and collecting plants and Gatorade bottles.
oh, nice.
Yep. There you go.
Oh man, there's some awesome stuff in Tampa too. That's where my
Don't forget,
wild-
everybody, to watch that that video I switched to the trailer on my channel because of tonight's show, featuring a bonsai garden that I built at my previous house when the River Life YouTube channel was a thing because we lived on the river, and I had some bad haircuts, so that might be entertaining for you.
The bonsai garden build and bad haircuts.
Yeah, that would be the one.
Well,
That'd
and
be the
Rack,
one.
do you still have a tank of any type? Would you like to compete?
No, I have a 5,000 gallon tank in the yard.
What? Oh, and they would eat the whatever you put in it.
Yeah, they don't let anything slide.
You have like the equivalent of water sheep.
Very good, Ed.
Well, guys, I don't want to run this too late. We're already 15 minutes late for poor Whip. And thank you so much, mods. You guys were amazing. Thank you, everybody,
Thanks,
for coming and watching. Thank you, Rack, for showing us what bonsais are. And thank you, Whip and Skip, for always being awesome. And we'll
If you
catch you guys
if you three
in like
want to
10
join, I put the link in the private chat. So
Yeah, that's
Feel free
good. Thank you, Whip.
if you're busy or want to go to bed, that's fine too.
Ed, are we picking up next week after you get your package?
Sure.
Okay, see you next week.
And yep, and we'll have these things painted, and I'll just post photos of them and maybe all the boxes or something. But,
Fantastic.
okay.